Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Wander and Prepare. Today we're back doing some cutting tests and we have the Architect Knives AK3. So check that thing out. So Ethan over at Architect Knives was kind enough to send me this for a review. He also sent me the AK8, which we'll be reviewing in another video. But tell you a little bit about Architect. So it's kind of in the name. So one of the cool things about this is you can completely design this knife from scratch. So you pick the blade steel, you pick the handle scales, you pick the style sheath you want, in any different colors and all of those things as well. Now, that being said, he only has some steels in stock at this particular moment, but this particular one is in Magna Cut. And that one is in stock at the moment, so go check those out. And you guys know what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and test it and see how it works. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's start with the paper test. I mean, no issues whatsoever there, so sharp as can possibly be. All right, let's get those out of the way. Now, talking about the sheath, really cool. He sent me a green sheath. I don't know if it's gonna come through on camera that this one's actually green, but it comes with an ulti clip, so premium hardware, and you get to select all of that. So if there's a different style clip you like, you can select a different style on his website and have it shipped with that particular one. So, and again, handle scales, this one's in G10, but they have micarta, they have G10, and I don't know if they have any others, but I think it's just micarta and G10 at the moment. And then sometimes, depending on the particular knife, some of the knives may come like a stone wash dark, you know, kind of thing, like a dark acid wash. But check them out, really, really cool. All right, so let's see how it does on the cardboard. I mean, easy work of that. Like, holy crap, not even giving any kind of issue whatsoever. All right, that was me on that one. Oh, my wind's blowing everything away. All right. Let's get a few things weighted down here. All right, get my cardboard out of the way, as that didn't give it any kind of challenge whatsoever. And then let's see, let's go with the Titan Survivor cord. So you guys are familiar with this. I don't think you're going to be able to see it on camera, but there is a particular metal snare in there that makes that very hard to cut. So we're going to go ahead and cut it and see how it does. So I'm first going to, well, actually we're going to cut it like this first. Be easier to grab a hold of. And man, went through that with ease. Make sure I didn't pull the metal snare out. No, it's still in there. That was actually a little surprising. So all right, let's see how it does on the table. Most knives cut through that cut pretty easy. The one they struggle with is when I lay it on the table trying to go through that wire. But no trouble with this one. Man, I gotta do that one more time just for fun. I mean, like the metal snare is not even in there. Like, that's pretty crazy actually. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do some clothesline. So you guys remember this. So this is clothesline. It's not the one that has the metal in between. It just has some little fibers in there. But let's go ahead and see how it cuts through this. I mean, no issues whatsoever. Cuts through it with absolute ease, as I would expect a Magna Cut knife to do. But so far so good. All right, let's step it up a little bit. So let's go with some of the jute twines. So this is a 1/2 inch jute twine, or maybe, yeah, this is a 1/2 inch jute twine. And then I have a 3/4 inch jute twine that we're gonna go through. All right, so let's see how this one does. I mean, super easy, presents no challenge whatsoever going through that. And then let's step it up. So here is the 3/4 inch jute twine. While I don't think it'll have any trouble going through it, just the thickness of this sometimes we'll get to some knives. But this one's a high saber grind, so I don't think you're gonna have any kind of issue with it whatsoever. But let's just go ahead and give it a whirl, see what happens. I mean, don't even really have to do a roll cut, and look how clean that cut is. That's really impressive. All right, now we got a little bit of different rope than we've ever had on here. So I have some climbing rope. So I have a 1/2 inch and I have a 3/4 inch climbing rope. And unlike the nylon ropes, these should be just a little bit harder to cut, but we'll see. I mean, presents no challenge whatsoever with that. All right. Now let's step it up. So here's the 3/4 inch climbing rope. And just so you know, this is actually rated for 9,000 pounds. So let's see how it does. No issues whatsoever. And if you guys are familiar with arborist rope, same thing, by the way. And I mean, like, holy crap, that clean cut. That's just, that's actually really, really impressive how clean that cut is as well. All right. Well, we're going to wait on this. Well, actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. So this is the polypropylene rope. So the source I had that was getting me the 3/4 inch, I had a little trouble getting it. So this is actually a 1/2 inch. And let's go ahead and cut through it and see how it does. Oh, there we go. Finally going to give me some problem on something. But not much. Look at that. Come on, we'll do one more just to make sure it wasn't fluke, and it wasn't. I mean, maybe cutting through that one actually a little easier. Look at that. That is a clean cut right there. All right. Well, let's see how it does on the toe strap. So this is a 24,000 pound toe strap. And usually most knives can get through it this way. They struggle once I actually put it on the table and try to cut it flat, but let's see how this one does. I mean, rips through that like nothing. All right, we're gonna set it down. We're gonna first use the blade and then I'm gonna use the edge. So let's see how it does cutting through it with the blade. No issues whatsoever. All right, now let's use that tip and see if it has any trouble going through it. All right, no trouble going through it. It's getting through it, but it's just getting through my mat and all the way through all those little bitty fibers in there. There you go, completely through. All right, man, I hadn't found anything this thing's gonna struggle with yet. All right, so if you guys remember, this is a reinforced fuel hose. So I forget what the diameter is on this, but it's been quite a struggle for some of the knives to get through. So let's go ahead and see how it does. No struggle for this one though. All right, we cut through it that way. We're gonna cut through it this way. No issue whatsoever with that. Let's just do it one more time for good measure. Super, super easy. All right. So, hadn't found anything yet that this thing seems like it's going to struggle with. So, just talking about this knife a little bit, and let's just look at the edge. No issues whatsoever on that edge. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but edge is holding up really, really well. And with a 3-inch knife like this would be perfect for an EDC pocket carry. Only negative, I would say, it comes with a pancake sheath, and I don't really like pancake sheaths all that well. I'd much rather have either a taco style, or if I found like a leather sheath, like a deep carry, that kind of come up to about right here, that thing would feel a lot better in the pocket. This one does take up a little bit of real estate in the pocket. Only kind of negative about it, but positive is it comes with the ulti clip, which is usually quite a bit of an upgrade. We're going to get to the price towards the end because I think that's going to be a little bit of a shocker to people in a good way. All right, we're adding a couple things new. Before we get to the leather though, let's just go ahead and do the zip ties. So I actually have 5 different zip ties ranging from 100 pounds and going up 100 pounds each and every time. So the first one, this is 100 pounds. Let's see how it does. Easy peasy. No issue whatsoever. All right, let's step it up to 200 pounds. No challenge whatsoever. No issue cutting through it on the table. All right, here we have a 300 pound zip tie. A little bit of resistance, but not bad. Man, cuts through that with ease. All right, here is a 400-pound zip tie. Easy peasy. So I've talked about this several times on the channel, but let's just show you. So if I got my fingers on the handle and I put it on a flat surface, from there up is all of the blade that I get. There back, I can't use it unless it's kind of on the edge of the table, or if I hold it like that. Even if I hold it like that though, I don't get much more use of that. So, but just one of the pet peeves of knives, I always wish the blade would come below the handle. All right, last but not least, this is a 500-pound zip tie. This is the big boy. Let's see how it does. A little bit of pressure, but got through it. Pretty clean cut. Let's see if I can get through it flat on the table. Gonna take it. Ooh, went through that really easy actually compared. So I thought I was gonna have to put quite a bit more force with that. So all right, before we do the last thing, let's just see. Now, one of the challenges with this, you don't see any fire starters on the table. I did talk to Ethan. Currently, as this one is, it does not have a 90-degree spine. However, he did tell me all models going forward will have a 90-degree spine on them, but this is kind of one of the old batch. So if you're looking to get one of these, reach out if you want to know if it has a 90-degree spine. Ethan's very responsive on email, but highly suggest you reach out to him and see if that's a 90-degree spine you're getting. And you may want to wait until some of the new stock comes in if that's what you're looking for, if that's important to you. But it does not have a 90-degree spine. But with MagnaCut 3-inch blades, definitely something I could use in the field. So let's just see how it would do with some feather sticking. If it is, I can stop from cutting my little curls off. Told y'all I'm not the best at feather sticking. All right, here we go. Let's try that. But other than me not being great at it, definitely creating some little curls and doing just fine work with that. I'm just not the best with feather sticking, so no issues with that. And then also another new one on the table. We have leather. So once I started the Wander and Prepare field research, I literally Googled what are the most common things cut with a knife, and leather was one of the things that come up. So we're going to go ahead and see how it cuts through this leather. So I'm first going to cut it with the edge, then I'm going to cut it with the tip, and then I'm actually going to roll it and see if it'll actually cut through it just a little. So let's first start with the edge, the edge, and see how it cuts through it. Relatively easy. Now let's start with that tip and see if it'll cut through with the tip. Literally just hung on that one corner, but cut all the way through it. All right, now I'm going to roll this up and see if it'll cut through it this way. And like it was nothing. All right, so one new thing too that I'm going to start doing is kind of to gauge that edge retention is at the end of the review, I'm going to start doing the paper test. Now, before I do this, I will tell you the amount of cutting that I just did. I mean, if you're a heavy knife user, that might be a month's worth of work for you. If you're not, that could be 3, 4, 5, 6 months worth of work of all the things that we just cut. So candidly, I have done this on a few times. I've chosen not to put it on film because I don't know that it's a completely fair assessment. But since I'm actually doing the evaluation forms now, I just want to see how does the edge retention hold up. So can it still slice through paper at the end of this test? And I think the answer to that is yes. And guys, let me tell you something. I've tested a whole lot of knives on this table, and very few of them can go through that paper at the end like this. So again, that is the Architect AK3 in MagnaCut. Now, super cool. Again, you do get to design your own knife with these. Now, here's what I think the shocker is on this one. So virtually a custom knife. In other words, what I mean by that is you customize it exactly the way you want. It's not like a custom order your design or anything, but like custom to the point of it's exactly what you want on it. and this thing is less than $200. I configured one right before I came out on the website with every single thing that I have here, and it came out to $192.55. Like, guys, I don't know where you can find a custom MagnaCut knife for that kind of price. So we'll see once we get to the value assessment on the evaluation form, but holy crap, I think this is actually a really, really good deal. So talk about fit, finish. I mean, it's a super nice knife. I mean, really, it has no hot spots whatsoever. It certainly doesn't act like a $200 knife. It acts like a quite a bit more expensive knife than that. But I mean, just great quality. Again, the only thing I would change about it is just that 90-degree spine, which they will have going forward. But holy crap, heck of a knife. Again, Ethan over at Architect Knives, super responsive if you reach out to him. And if I forgot to mention it, this is a 100% American-made knife. Every single piece is made in America. So really cool. Once you look it up, he has a few different steels. So he has MagnaCut, he has CPM 3V, he has 1095, he has S35 VN. So several different steels that you can configure your knife in. I will say though, you don't always find all of those steels in stock, so you got to check the website regularly. However, if you search that knife and one of those steels that I mentioned, you'll come up with a link and you can have a notification sent to you when those come back in stock. So highly suggest doing that, but check them out, Architect Knives. So we're going to get the review next, and we're going to go sit down and do the evaluation and see how that does, but let's go ahead and see how that turns out. All right, here we go. Here is the evaluation sheet for the AK3. So just to go through a couple of the specs. So AK3, the price as configured came out to $192.55. It is in MagnaCut steel, 3.12 inches on the blade length, 4.5 ounces, and 7.43 inches overall. And then a Kydex pancake sheath. So just to give you a little close-up of that. I initially said that that sheath was green, although it kind of looks black now. It's really, oh, nope, it's definitely green. You can see up against the black ulti-clip there. But you can tell it's green when it's in the light for sure. But it's got brown G10 handles on it. And overall, just a really good knife. So here's the way I rated it. So cutting performance, hands down, probably one of the best cutting performance knives that I've had on the table to date. And I mean like over any knife. So just the fact that it was able to slice through that paper steel after doing all of those cuts, that was really impressive. Like, I don't always get that with a knife, so I really enjoyed seeing that. Build quality, I gave it a 4 out of 5 on this one, and that says how well was the knife manufactured, fit, finish, materials, overall quality. So obviously it's a super good quality steel, nothing to do there. Why I rated it that way is there are a couple knives out there that I consider heirloom knives, you know, knives that I'd be proud to pass down. But just the fit and finish on this is a little bit different. So what I mean by that is right there, like where the little pivot, or not pivot screws, but screws go in for the handle, it's just rough right there. While I got no hot spots while using it, it's just not refined. So that was the only thing literally that I marked off for. And same thing back here where the lanyard hole is. It will be very difficult to actually get a lanyard in there. So just little things like that. And I really enjoy it. Like, for the most part, it's really, really good. But there's a couple spots where you can feel the handle is just a little upraised compared to the steel. So that's what I mean by fit and finish. And that's the difference between like a heirloom knife and something like this. Now, that said, 4 out of 5, that's still excellent. So I don't think that's necessarily a negative, but for the price you get, I think that's exactly what you'd kind of expect with that. But again, no hot spots whatsoever, super comfortable, and no complaints whatsoever. But that's why I give it a 4 instead of a 5. It's not quite heirloom quality. Ergonomics and comfort, again, 4 out of 5 there. Same thing. No issues when using it. Just I have a feeling if I used it a whole heck of a lot, or I used it with wet hands, those little indentions right there would start to get to me just a little bit, and that's why I rated that a 4 out of 5 on that. Field practicality, how well does it perform? I gave it a 4 in that category for one reason only, and they're fixing that reason. But as of right now, this knife does not have a 90-degree spine, so that's why I give it a 4 in that category. So again, I think this could be a perfect camp-like knife, but it's just missing that ability to start a fire for me. And then overall confidence in the knife, 5 out of 5. So, I mean, hands down, this is a super good quality knife. I mean, just can't beat it for that price, and we'll go over a couple of those things in just a second too. So overall, it scored a 22 out of 25, so very good, excellent. And I said the value assessment for a USA made Magna Cut knife, excellent value. Highly suggest you go out there and pick one up. And I can't believe that they're actually in stock on the website. For that price and for Magna Cut steel, and as well as this thing is done, like as well as it performs, like that's some of the best quality work that I've seen out there. So really good. Recommendation, highly recommend this knife. Matter of fact, I have to send this one back. I am quite certain I'm going to purchase this knife. So would I buy it? Absolutely. Like I said, probably going to get some micarta scales, and I'm going to get a sheath with it, but I think I'm going to source a pocket sheath with it, and just think that would be a really good EDC fixed blade. So biggest strength, I said cutting performance and USA made, so hands down one of the best cutters that came across the table. Biggest weakness, no 90-degree spine. Best for EDC in my opinion, and would improve by having that 90-degree spine and just refine the fit and finish. So again, I don't consider this a negative of the knife at all. It's just that's the only thing holding it back from being honestly an heirloom quality knife. If that right there was as fit and finish as some of the heirloom quality knives I have, I mean, this might be just a one and done knife, honestly. I mean, it is really that good. So final comments, I said for the money, this knife is hard to beat. USA made, Magna Cut for less than $200. Performs as well as it does, highly recommended. So there you guys have it. There is the evaluation sheet for the AK3 from Architect Knives. All right, everybody, now we're back. So pretty good job on this scoring, and man, just a heck of a slicer. So go check them out, the AK3 from Architect Knives. Guys, just remember, as we're out there wandering and preparing, let's make sure we do so by faith and not by sight. So tell me your experience. Have you ever used Architect Knives? And if so, what's your favorite model? So they have a 3-inch, a 3.5, a 4.5, a 5.5, a 6.5, and an 8-inch knife. So you can't find one that will not suit your needs in that. But let me know if you had experience with Architect Knives, what that experience was. From everything I can tell, one heck of a knife for a really good price. Thank you guys so much. That's all I have for you guys today.